Mic check. Mic check and good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, I haven't built out the watch list or really looked at anything, so this is going to be a raw session, a super raw session. I don't have anything pre-planned, and we are going to work through this together. So we start with SPY, not Starbucks. We start with SPY. We're going to go 5-minute time frame. Let's see what we're given here. Okay, so market direction still really unclear. From what I'm seeing, this is selling off yesterday into an end of day recovery and then the gap up this morning. I haven't drawn the line at 694, but that was a line that we've pulled previously, and I think that that could be one that we work off of today for a continuation. So SPY, we can just say continuation to the top side given the gap up this morning. Long idea above 694. To the short side, naturally, we would want to see this hold up above the previous day's closing price. Failure to hold that PDC as support means that this is a green to red move. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's called a green to red move, and it all revolves around utilizing that previous day's closing price as a reference point intraday to take your entry. So our short level is going to be placed just below that at 690. We'll come back to this. If we have to move this line up, we will. As of right now, I want to leave it there. But if this continues to move in the pre-market, we'll probably just slide it up to 695. All right, number 2 on this is my focus list. I post this every afternoon for my Discord so that you all have time to chart this out. So hopefully you did. But number 2 is going to be Microsoft. We'll see if this is in play today. It could be. We could work around this. So Microsoft on the daily, remember, is breaking down. We've been looking at taking this short the past couple of trading days. It's given us 2 sell-offs. This morning, I was looking for a continuation down, but the problem is this gap up kind of takes the continuation out of play. So a continuation would be a break below the prior day's low of day, right? 457. But this is all the way up here at 461, which is about 1% away, nearly 1% away from where I would like to take it short. So I really only see one option here for us, and that's going to be aggressive on this because it is still a gap up and we can still work around that PDC. So I can say short below 459. On Microsoft, I'm not totally sold on this setup, so I'm going to put a couple of question marks here, but I will add it to the watch list right now as a placeholder. So Microsoft below 459. If we don't see anything that really looks better than that, we'll leave it on the list. Otherwise, we have plenty more to choose from to fill up our list, so there might be something that's better. Meta. Next one on the watch list. This also is a continuation short idea. We'd be looking for the break of the pre-market low, which is also your prior day's low of day there. All of this support is really clear at 615. I like Meta as a short below 615 today, if that can get there. That was really an easy one to analyze, and sometimes it doesn't have to be overly complicated. So all we have to do here is just say we're selling off. This is selling off on the daily time frame. So from here, we are just watching for a continuation. All right, and pretty easy analysis. We don't always have to overcomplicate things. Amazon, next one on the focus list. Okay, so Amazon was originally included as a continuation sell-off idea. Obviously, with the gap up this morning, that kind of takes that trade idea out of play. So now that we have 2 of these setups that already look like this, right? We've got Meta and Microsoft, which were continuation short ideas that have gapped up. We don't want to include a third one. So Amazon being the one that seems the most gapped up here, I think that we probably leave this alone. plus Amazon is kind of uptrending on the daily overall while the other two are downtrending. So those two make sense to leave as the short ideas on the watch list. We're going to skip Amazon. We're not going to put that on the watch list because we just have two other setups that look the same, right? And I don't want to include a bunch of setups that all look exactly the same. So we switch it up. Let's go INTC. The analysis on this has not changed. We are still looking for the same exact thing that we've been looking for all week, which is just this to continue to run topside. Remember, if you haven't seen this, I'm going to back this up. We'll just go 15 years back. If you haven't seen this, it looks like where we're trading at right now might be the all-time high, right? If you're just looking at this on the daily, you're like, wow, that's all-time high. But you always have to back up and look at previous price action. That does matter. From where this is currently at, this gap looks like it's been filled, so we can delete that. From where this is currently at, your next resistance is going to be 50 and then up to about 51.5. So that's going to be our profit margin or profit targets top side. So we're going to be looking for a break at the pre-market high on INTC, long idea above 49.5. This will probably be a side chart. We'll just add it as a side chart for right now. And we'll check out the other ones before we decide what goes where. All right, Tesla, next on the watch list. This also was included as a continuation sell-off idea. At the beginning of the week, I was really hoping that this would get above 450 and give us a run. It kind of did that on this day here, but didn't sustain the move and eventually came down. So this doesn't feel like it's in play today. It's not in play for a continuation. This uptrend could sell off. That could happen, but I don't see anything in play topside, so I'm going to skip Tesla for right now. And we may or may not come back to that, but I don't see anything here for us. All right, AMD, next one on the watch list. I want to talk about something before I talk about today's price action on AMD. Yesterday's price action, I'll move this to the 1 minute time frame. Yesterday's price action on AMD did give us this run, right? This is an opening kind of range, if you will, that then breaks and runs. And our long level yesterday on AMD was $221. So on one hand, you could have waited for this to run and rally all the way up to 221, taken the entry here, and then it would have worked topside. But this would feel like a really chased move, right? The other thing you could have done is wait for it to break 221, run, and then pull back, and then take your dip entry here for this move up. That might have given you some decent profits, right? But the better move, the better entry on this, even though the long level was placed up here at 221, was to identify the moment that this trend changed, or this opening range, or just this pennant pattern, however you want to look at it. What's the most important here is that you identify this is a series of lower highs. So this is your high, your lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, until this lower high breaks, and now you get, boom, higher highs, right? Now you're starting to get higher highs. So that's your first sign of a trend change, higher highs. Then you got the break of the downtrend trend line. And at this time, note the volume, right? The volume overall here is decreasing. Then at the moment this starts to break out, this volume starts to increase. So in actuality, the long level's 221 yesterday for AMD, but you did not need to wait on it to get all the way to 221 before you could have taken your entry. So if you happen to be watching this yesterday, I wanted to point this out. You technically would be breaking the rules of the watch list by entering prior to the break of the trigger level, but you would not have been doing that under an assumption that it was moving, because you had confirmations prior, multiple confirmations prior that this was moving before the trigger level, so you could have taken the entry down here. It would have been a justified entry, certainly. All right, so I wanted to point that out. These levels that I set, obviously, we're setting them in the pre-market. We don't know what the opening price action is going to be of the stock. So the next time that you see something like this, right, where we had a long level up here, but you get consolidation that breaks, as long as your confirmations are true, you can take the entry earlier than the trigger level. All right, AMD, yeah, this thing is moving. So top side, this is we're probably not going to look to take this short. down all the way down at the PDC. Percentage-wise, that's about a 3% gap up. So we'll probably leave that alone. Obviously, it's going to be a long idea above your pre-market high, which is 231. But I just want to reference where this is at on the daily. So AMD, look at all of this consolidation, right? If this breaks 231 and closes, or even if it just closes where it opens at today, it closes outside of all of this price action. Because this candle is up here, yes, but the body of that candle, it closed down here. So AMD's got resistance up here in this area, which means that this move today that we're seeing in the pre-market might be the start of the run back up towards 250, 260, 270. So this is I don't want to say a monumental day, but it's a really important day for this name. So 5-minute time frame, long idea above the pre-market high, and just be careful of the extension here on AMD at the open. All right, so let's add this to our watch list. AMD long above 231. This probably becomes our top stock pick of the day, at least as of right now. I'm going to say watching for a continuation topside following the morning gap up. Also, a possible break of the range on the daily, and we highlighted that range already. Okay. Next on the list is Google. Google was included as something to give us a continuation topside, I believe. Let's look on the daily. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So this is just kind of, it hasn't been super pretty, but it has been trending. It has been trending. So this is your uptrend right here. Your all-time high, 340.5. This morning's opening price is going to be fairly close to that. So there are a couple of ways we can run this. Number one would just be long at 340.5. That's the safest way to approach this. The problem with that is that you're asking Google to run about 1% before you take your entry, and then running another 1 or 2% for you to get profits on, which would be a pretty big day for Google. Could that happen? Yes. Is it likely to happen? I would say mid, maybe. The other way we could approach this is be really aggressive, right? So we can go long at like 338 or 338.5 maybe. That would make sense. And then try to take advantage of the move from where the stock is at up to that all-time high. And then that way we're already in down here, so that if this hits and rejects, there's a chance that we could take some profits there. Or if it just breaks right through and continues to go, then all of a sudden we've got a nice entry down here. So it just depends on how you want to approach this today. One level here is not better than the other. One level down here is just a bit more aggressive, but comes with a little more profit margin. This one's a little more conservative, and you may not get as much profit. So if it's up to you where you want to set your level on Google. I usually tend to lean more towards the conservative side. I don't think that I would agree with anything in the middle here, because you're just splitting I think either it's all or nothing. Either you got to be aggressive on this to maximize your profit margin, or you got to be conservative on this and just say we'll wait for another day. I usually lean more towards the conservative side, but today on Google I do want to be more aggressive just because of the gap up on SPY. Potentially we get follow through run on SPY and a move back up towards those all-time highs, which will give us market backing for this to run up to and through those all-time highs as well. So I'm going to go Google long above 338.5. And we're going to say watching for a, actually we're not watching, we're looking for a run towards the all-time highs to continue the uptrend on the daily. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, then we had a couple of potentials here. These are included just to see, okay, where are they opening up at? Are they offering us any actual opportunity today? So number one is Alibaba. This had a gap up yesterday and then did nothing, and then a gap down this morning. So a continuation on this feels probably not in play today. It has been an exceptional mover recently, but yeah, I think we'd leave it alone. It's not exactly where I would like that to be. And then Walmart, this one we would be looking for the all-time high on as well. So recent gap up, your true all-time high is 121.24. Could this go today? Yeah, I don't think I want to be aggressive on something like this though. Or do I? Long at 121 or long at 121 and a half, or we be really aggressive and long at 120 and a half. I don't like being aggressive on Walmart. Tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to set an alert at 121 to let me know that this is moving up. I'm going to set a soft level at 121 point. Actually, I'll set another alert at the all-time high, so 121.25. And then a soft level I'll set at 121 and a half. I'll just leave that line up there to remind me that there's some pre-market resistance from a day ago. And then that way, if this starts to move up and nothing else on my watch list is moving, I can go reference this for a potential trade idea. And I can do that in real time and feel confident about it without actually putting it on the watch list because we've already looked at it, right? We're already analyzing it right now. All right, so let's roll through some more names and just see if there's anything that's out there that's moving exceptionally, anything that looks different or something that has maybe news or some crazy volume. So what I'm looking at when I'm scrolling through these, I'm moving very quickly, but what I'm looking at here is your pre-market price action. I'm looking right here every time. Boom, right here every time. And I'm just looking for anything kind of like this, right? Kind of something out of the ordinary. Right? So it's a very quick glance, and you'll know something out of the ordinary when you see it. But a very quick glance to let me know, okay, is there news out on this? MU, so MU is up this morning. We may add this to the list. Just price target to 450 from 275, okay? So a couple of price target raises. Chip stocks soar after Taiwan Semiconductor smashes AI bubble fears. Okay, so it may be that chip stocks are the ones to watch today. We have AMD with a nice move up and MU with a nice move up. And that line, so you notice I just came to this chart. We just flipped to this chart. This line has been here at 349. I haven't touched that. This puts us right back at the all-time highs for MU. So let's go 5-minute time frame again. I think, so your all-time high would actually be this, 351.23. But I think we can run this over this resistance point and be aggressive on it, especially with the news catalyst behind it, right? So 348 for the all-time high run. So let's add MU here. We'll add MU over 348. And remember, we're still going to go through and look at the rest of our list, but we're just kind of getting a collection ready. How about Starbucks? I'm not sure why Starbucks did not make my focus list. It should have been. We traded Starbucks and made some money on this yesterday. So this definitely deserves to be on our list for a continuation today. It's hard to tell where this is trading at, but these tick marks actually represent the current trade price. So it's at 91.5 right now. Yesterday, we were able to get 20% on a very small looking move, about a 50-cent move. So I do want to be as aggressive as possible with this, because if this, if this runs to 92, that could be the move that could be all the move that we need from here to 92 to give us 20%. This is definitely going to be a side chart because the contracts yesterday were actually not that great for Starbucks. They had a wide spread. They weren't terrible, but they weren't the best either. A little outside of the realm of what I usually like to trade. So this will be a side chart, Starbucks over 91.5. All right, and then we keep rolling. That's AMD, Google, and we'll go back and reference all of those again. Look at this, gold. This looks like something I would short. I would take short. This is a gap up right here. I can tell you that right now just by looking at this chart. This is a gap. That's a whole gap right there. Look, I'll show you on the daily. You see that disconnect? See that disconnect between the top of this candle and the bottom of that? That's a gap. And then when you go to the 5-minute time frame, if you just take this whole thing and move it up, that's a range. That right there, if we can make it look pretty for you, that's a range. And then, so this is a range. So this would be a range breakdown trade idea into a gap. Gold looks good to take short under 420. I probably won't put this on the watch list, but it's just good to do this analysis for practice anyways. But yeah, if this was like Amazon or Meta or one of these larger names that I usually trade, this would definitely be on the watch list, and this would probably be the top pick of the day. All right, so we're going to keep rolling through. Somebody said to check out ARM. I've looked at that name before. It doesn't normally offer contracts that I like to trade. But I'll check it out. I don't want to add too many because you're saying it's a chip stock too, right? And if we already have a few chip names on the watch list, just like how I did earlier at the beginning of the session, when I said I don't want to add too many of the same names like Meta and Microsoft that were originally bearish ideas that have gapped up this morning, and now we're looking for the green to red move on those. So I didn't want to add too many of those because they look the same, right? They're moving the same way. The same is true for these chip stocks. I would just rather focus on a couple of them and not the entire lot, because if I put 6 chip stocks on the watch list and none of the chip stocks move, now I've wasted 6 spaces on my list. You know what I mean? And then we're left with like nothing else to trade because that's all we did was analyze chip stocks. So I'll take a look at it, but I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to put it on the watch list. All right, as I'm rolling through, I really don't see anything that looks better than what we've chosen. So there's TSM up after earnings. So this would be your catalyst, right? Your catalyst there. There's ASML. Okay, and then you wanted to also check out ARM. So ARM being up a few percentage points as well. Yeah, so I like this already with the bounce off 100, and I could look at this and say this is a clear downtrend, and then you got the break of the downtrend with the positive reaction to the news catalyst, so it's probably oversold on the daily. Yep, that's what that looks like to me, oversold on the daily. So this is a bullish reversal candlestick formation that you're seeing right here. This candlestick is known as a hammer candle. That is a hammer candle right there. I teach this in the course on my WAP. This is a hammer candlestick which signals, even though it's a red candle, it signals a reversal, because what this means is, so this is selling, right? And then this gets really close to the $100 whole number. So I put a line there at $100. That's just going to be a natural point of support in the market. So as this is selling, it nears 100, natural point of support. What this bottoming wick represents, I'll zoom in a little more. What this bottom wick represents, think of like market psychology, right? Like this is selling. This stock was trading all the way down at these lows before buyers stepped in. This is buyers stepping in here and pushing the price back up. So buyers stepping in really close to the natural point of support, the $100 hold number. Buyers stepping in, seeing this as a possible dip buy opportunity off of the support and pressing that price back up. Now, you don't know that this is a bullish reversal candlestick until you see the next day. Well, if we go 5-minute time frame, we're already getting, see that leg that I drew? We're already getting the next day, right? We're already getting the break of the downtrend trend line. So you've got a bounce off of a whole number at support, buyers stepping in, a positive reaction to a news catalyst, a break of the downtrend trend line, an extended stock on the daily. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons this could move higher today. Definitely. But I wanted to, if you've never seen that candlestick or you're not familiar with candlestick formations, anytime you see, so it looks like a hammer, right? Think of this like you're holding the bottom of and then this is the hammerhead. Boom. That's a bullish reversal candlestick formation. It's called a hammer candle. But this one, yeah, it's not going to make the watch list despite that because we already have our other chip names here, which are quite a bit more popular. All right, let's roll through our list again and make sure we've got everything set. So SPY, long above 694, short below 690, which I didn't put, but we will. Short below 690. Okay, so that looks good. We may just have to edit the top level if this continues to press higher. Number 2 is going to be AMD. Long above 231. I'm just going to move this up here. Yes, so AMD above 231 looks good, so no change there from what we originally intended. Google, next one on the list, long above 338.5, still looks good. If this moves any higher, though, we will have to move this level up, but for right now, it's fine. Then we have Meta. So Meta is going to kind of be a hedge play, right? We're actually bearish on this, short below 615, and you see why. This is just a bunch of support right here. So short below 615 looks good for Meta. Microsoft, do we want to leave this on the list? I don't see any harm in leaving this on the list, so we'll consider Meta to be a hedge play for us as well, where we're looking for this to sell off and go from green to red. I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe it runs today, but look, here's the deal. If it's a short idea under 459 and we don't get a move down below 459, don't try to go short on this at the open under the assumption that it's going to sell. And don't try to go short on this after it runs, thinking that it has to reverse, because it doesn't. If it does not break the 459 level set below, then you do not take the trade. And it's just as simple as that. And then another rule is don't trade in the first 5 minutes. And just wait for your confirmations. So we like Microsoft below 459. We'll leave it on the watch list. INTC, next one up. Long above 49.5 looks good. Then we've got MU, next one up, long above 348 looks good. And then we've got Starbucks, last one on the list, long above 91.5. Looks good. So that's it. Here is your full watch list for today. And we did all of this analysis in real time together. This is going to be the exact list that I trade off of today without any deviation. And I will be trading live in the Discord server. So 1 second, let me post this for everybody. So here's how you're going to navigate to the live trading, because it's not here on YouTube. It's going to be on Discord server. Bottom left-hand side of the Discord server. Scroll down, 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 all the way bottom. You're going to see voice channels heading. Under that, you'll see a channel called the Arena. You're going to see people in the Arena. This is where we will conduct the live trading. So when you're ready, go ahead and join in there, and I'll see you over there in about 15 or 20 minutes. Thank you all so much for your time this morning. Hope the reviews helped, and I hope you make a whole bunch of money off of this watch list. Remember to wait on your confirmations and a break of these levels first before you take your entry. Don't enter under assumption. Enter after confirmation. Good luck today. You got this. And yeah, hope you make some money. Cheers.